In Game of Thrones, Daenerys will definitely be resurrected and become the new Night King. In the show, she has already been killed by Jon Snow, but Drogon carried away her body. Don't forget that Drogon once carried Daenerys away from the fighting arena, and they went to the Dothraki Sea. So this time, Drogon will also choose this place which he is most familiar with. And there is only one way to resurrect Daenerys, that is, with the help of the Red Priestesses. Melisandre once resurrected Jon Snow, so surely other Red Priestesses also have such an ability. And next to the Dothraki Sea is Meereen, where Daenerys once met the Red Priestess Kinvara. She once expressed her desire to help Daenerys achieve her great cause of dominance, so she will surely help resurrect her. We all know that Daenerys wanted to unify the Seven Kingdoms, and now Bran is sitting on the Iron Throne. The best way for Daenerys to get rid of Bran is to make use of the power of the Night King. The Night King is dead, but the Dragon Glass is still there. As long as she goes back to Dragonstone and retrieves the Dragon Glass, she can become the Night King. With the power of the Night King, she can resurrect dead, have a powerful army, and even resurrect her dragon. As for her weakness, only Valyrian steel remains, because she has already fully mastered the Dragon Glass that could have killed her. So she definitely has a good chance of winning against Bran and unifying the continent of Westeros. A brand new theory in Game of Thrones. Jon Snow actually has a twin sister. She is the daughter of Howland Reed. You may have forgotten that Howland has always been loyal to the Stark family. Moreover, Howland Reed once went to the Tower of Joy with Ned Stark to rescue Lyanna Stark. He is the only person who can prove Jon Snow's true parentage. He clearly knows that Jon Snow is the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. In the original novels, there are actually many hints that there are unsolved mysteries about Lyanna's childbirth, so it's very likely that Lyanna gave birth to a pair of twins. Besides, you can tell that they look very similar. Their black curly hair is exactly the kind of curly hair inherited from Rhaegar Targaryen. Then Howland and Ned each took one of the children away, with the aim of hiding the true heir to the Iron Throne. That's why they have never met each other. Meera was born in the same year as Jon Snow, but Howland Reed claimed that Meera was Jojen's elder sister. Do you really believe that? Obviously, the hair colors of these two children are different, and we can also tell that Meera has no blood relation to the Reed family. This is just a measure taken by Howland to protect Meera, just like Jon Snow has been living with the title of a Stark bastard until now. As a character who knows such a huge secret, Howland rarely appears on the screen. He has always lived in seclusion in Greywater Watch and refused to reveal the truth because he was entrusted by Ned to hide Lyanna's other child, that is, Meera. I swear you definitely don't know why Varys is bald. He shaves his head until it shines brightly. This is his most distinctive feature and also hides his deepest secret. He is from the Targaryen family. That's why he keeps his head bald, because he has to hide his head of silver hair. Think about it. Although he holds a high position and great power now, he had a tragic background when he was a child. He was a slave from Lys. You have to know that the typical features of the people from Lys are silver hair and purple eyes. In the original work, there is an extinct family called the Blackfyre family, which is a branch of the Targaryen family. It is very likely that Varys is from the Blackfyre family. Moreover, he was bought by a warlock and sacrificed for magic. The warlock was willing to pay a high price for Varys, who was a slave at that time, which shows that Varys' identity is not ordinary.
Take what happened to you, Lord Varys, when you were a child. If not for your mutilation at the hand of a second-rate sorcerer.
He wasn't calm facing Kinvara, all because he was afraid that his true identity would be exposed. At the same time, he cooperated with Tyrion and was willing to assist Daenerys, all because he wanted to uphold the orthodoxy, since he himself is from the Targaryen family. That's why Varys and the Magister Illyrio once jointly nurtured Aegon Targaryen the Younger, and Illyrio's wife had the characteristic of silver hair and was suspected to be from the Blackfyre family as well. Varys has a close relationship with them, which is a clear indication of his true identity. He should have a head of silver hair on his head. In Game of Thrones, why was it only Arya Stark who could kill the Night King? Even Daenerys Targaryen's dragons couldn't kill the Night King, yet he was easily slain by a little girl. Think about it. Before the Battle of Winterfell, the Red Priestess Melisandre reminded Arya, "You will shut many eyes, especially blue ones." The Night King's eyes were exactly blue, and what she meant was that Arya could kill the Night King. The Night King was personally created by the children of the forest. Although he wasn't afraid of dragon fire, he was also a character with magical powers. As an ordinary ordinary human being. Even though Arya had received systematic assassination training, she still needed an important tool to complete the assassination, and that was the Valyrian steel dagger. Besides dragon glass, Valyrian steel with magical properties was the only weapon that could kill the Night King. What's more, Bran Stark, who had the ability of the Green Seer, foresaw Arya's action. That's why he distracted the Night King by making the crows caw, creating an opportunity for the assassination, and it was Bran who gave the dagger to Arya. All of this was guided by fate. You might say that Jon Snow's weapon also had the same ability. That's right, his sword was also made of Valyrian steel. However, Jon Snow didn't even have a real confrontation with the Night King. The Night King resurrected a bunch of the dead to block him, so Jon Snow could only fight against the undead, while Arya managed to get close to the Night King, which was also thanks to her intelligence and agility. Does anyone really know? In Game of Thrones, the Night King is actually Bran Stark. We all know that Bran has the ability of a Green Seer, which allows him to travel through time and space and possess people or animals. That's why Aerys II Targaryen went crazy, because Bran traveled back in time and kept saying, "Burn them all." Only by burning all the people in the city could the Night King better assemble his army. All the corpses came in handy, and that's what he was plotting. The most important point of this theory is that the Night King was indeed a member of the Stark family, and his name was the same as Bran's. Even their clothes are extremely similar. Don't rush to refute me. Although we did see what the Night King looked like in his human form, don't forget that at time, Bran was inside this man. Bran wanted to stop the children of the forest from turning him into a White Walker, and when Bran traveled back in time, his posture was exactly the same as the Night King's after being transformed. Do you really think this is just a coincidence? In Game of Thrones, getting caught in a time loop is a very possible reality.
I've told you many times, stay too long where you don't belong, and you will never return.
Because Bran never really came back, the Night King is another form of Bran. That's why the Night King could sense Bran and mark him. The Night King had to kill Bran. Only by killing his normal self could he become the true king without any weaknesses.
I simply have to share this theory about the Stark family and their wolves. Each wolf reveals the fate of every child. Like Bran's wolf is named Summer, and it was killed by the White Walkers while protecting its master. Later, Bran also died, in a sense. The one who was reborn wasn't Bran, but the three-eyed raven. Winter is coming. Robb's wolf, Grey Wind, died together with its master during the Red Wedding, and Nymeria later became the alpha wolf of a pack. She was no longer a household pet, but lived freely in the continent of Westeros. Just like Arya, after the changes in her family, she was no longer a noble young lady, but grew into a true warrior. When she said to Nymeria, "You're not the same anymore," she was also talking about herself. She is the child of the Starks with the most wolfish nature. Her sister is different. Just like the name of her wolf, Lady. Lady was executed at the very beginning, just like Sansa's fate of being at the mercy of others. She is the Stark who seems least like a Stark. She grew into a political schemer. In the dangerous Game of Thrones, she couldn't be a lady anymore. She has her own battles. The former her died together with Lady. I'm not sure if anyone watched until the end, but I still want to mention Jon Snow.
Run to the litter. That one's yours, Snow.
That's his true identity. The white-furred wolf, the silver-haired Targaryen. Before the appearance of the young wolves, the scene of the old wolf and the deer, both suffering heavy losses, also foretold the fates of Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon for everyone.
Have you ever heard of this Game of Thrones theory? Rose Bolton is actually a vampire. Don't forget, we're in Game of Thrones. This is a supernatural world where magic exists. There are dragons, the children of the forest, the three-eyed raven, and even the White Walkers. And vampires are characters commonly seen in European TV dramas and movies. As one of the oldest families in the North, I'm willing to believe that all members of the Bolton family are vampires. No matter how the regime changes, their family still firmly takes root in the North. They are extremely cruel to their enemies and have always maintained the habit of flaying people, just like their family sigil, the red flayed man. Red symbolizes blood and violence, just like the bloodthirsty life of vampires. They might very well prolong their lives by possessing other people's bodies, which is why there is so little historical information about their family. There is also a suspicious detail. Rose Bolton once planned to get rid of Ramsay. Does this mean that one day he intended to possess Ramsay's body? We all know that Rose has always been in pursuit of immortality. He regularly uses leeches to suck his blood to purify his body. He is so obsessed with blood. Isn't this all for the goal of achieving immortality through bloodthirstiness? And the Dreadfort where he lives looks gloomy and terrifying, just like the castles where all vampires should live. I'm especially curious about what other theories you've heard.